Helpful conversations for visiting someone in the hospital. Daisy enters Parker's room.
Hey there. I hope I'm not disturbing your rest.
No, not at all. Thanks for coming by.
How are you feeling? I was so anxious when I heard about the accident.
The doctor gave me some painkillers to ease the pain, so I'm feeling much better. The first few hours were rough, though.
Did the doctor say anything?
He said I'm recovering well. I can move around with a crutch now, so that's some progress.
That's wonderful. Do you know when you might be able to leave the hospital?
They're hopeful that I can leave next Monday if everything looks optimistic.
That's great news.
Yeah, but it'll still be a while before I can do anything too intense like exercise again. Honestly, I've been bored, so I really appreciate your company.
I'm sure you'll be back on your feet in no time. Just let me know if you need anything.
Hi everyone, welcome to the show. I'm Tiffany.
I'm Claire.
And we were talking about, going to visit someone at the hospital because unfortunately, Parker, who is Daisy's brother, he was in an accident and now he's at the hospital.
Right, and we also learned that before you visit someone at the hospital, you'll be asked a few basic questions like, may I ask your relationship to this person? And the hospital won't allow you to just charge right in, so it's also good to ask about visiting hours.
That's right. We learned that he also had surgery as well. And so only at the time right now, only his family members are allowed to visit him during those visiting hours. So let's see how he's doing and see if he's getting better.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see how Parker's doing and see if he's, feeling better and if he's recovering well. So we have this scenario here. It says Daisy enters Parker's room and Daisy says, hey there, I hope I'm not disturbing your rest. Disturb here just means to interrupt somebody when they're trying to work or sleep, etc. So yeah, she just wants to make sure Parker isn't sleeping. He isn't resting and stuff. She doesn't just want to be like, hello, like, how are you? So that's a very nice way for her to
Yeah, it's
ask.
just being very thoughtful.
Yes.
Right. 好，所以这边我们看到 disturb 它就会是一个动词打扰的意思。那这边 Daisy 就说I hope I'm not disturbing your rest， 是很有礼貌的表示说希望我没有打扰你休息。
Parker says, no, not at all. Thanks for coming by. Come by, this phrase means to just make a short visit to maybe see someone or to a place on your way to somewhere else. So yeah, instead of saying come by, you can also say thanks for swinging by or thanks for stopping by as well.
Right, 所以它就会是指顺道拜访 come by 有顺道拜访或是短暂拜访的意思。那 Tiffany 你刚刚有提到说类似的说法，你也可以用 swing by or stop by 都很常用。
Daisy then says, how are you feeling? I was so anxious when I heard about the accident, okay? When you're anxious, this is an adjective and it just means you're feeling worried or you're very, very nervous. This might be also a feeling that you might have if you're waiting for your crush to talk to you, or maybe you're waiting for the results of your maybe final exams or something, okay? So we can use it in a sentence like this. Michael's college acceptance letters should be coming soon. So he was super anxious all weekend.
所以 anxious 它就是一个情绪的形容词，表示很焦虑或是很担心。那刚刚有提到说，如果你在等待一个很重要的消息，比如说会考完啦，你在等待你的会考成绩，或是喜欢的人跟你说话的时候 you might feel very anxious. So 这边呢 Daisy 就说 I was so anxious 表示她听到事故消息的时候是非常担心的。
Yeah, very natural if someone close to you is, hurt or in the hospital, okay? Next, Parker says, the doctor gave me some painkillers to ease the pain, so I'm feeling much better. Painkiller is basically like a medicine that you take that reduces and lessens your pain. So if you have a really bad headache, or maybe if you had surgery, for example, then maybe you might need some painkillers to help you reduce the pain that you feel. In Taiwan, you can take Punatan. That's the name in Taiwan. In America, it's the same thing. It's just a different name. time. It's called Tylenol or Advil.
OK. So painkiller 就会是止痛药啦。你有没有发现它是一个很酷的字？这个 painkiller 就会是杀死疼痛的药，用来减轻你身体的不舒服。那这里 Parker 就说，哦，他吃了止痛药，所以感觉好一点了。
Thank goodness. Okay. Then Parker continues to say, the first few hours were rough though. All right, so rough here is an adjective and it just means difficult and unpleasant. You can also use tough as well. Okay, so for example, if you have a lot of bad things happen to you or had a lot of bad things happen to you, like maybe you broke up with your boyfriend or girlfriend, or you argue a lot with your friends and you're not getting along, then that means you're going through a difficult time. So instead of saying, I'm having a hard time or a difficult time, you can say, I'm having a rough time, or you can say, I'm going through some rough times. Okay, so yeah, as we can see for Parker, since he had an accident, I'm sure the first few hours must have been really painful and unpleasant. So he uses rough to explain his situation. We can use it in a sentence like this. Ollie's going through a rough time right now. I think his parents might get a divorce and move him to a new school.
Wow, that's really tough.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we see rough, 它会是一个形容词，形容事情很艰难、很困难，或是很不愉快。那这个字呢，也可以用在生活的挫折上，比如说我们刚刚有提到如果分手啦、感情不顺啊，或是跟朋友吵架、家庭问题，都可以说 have a rough time.
Oh no. Okay, so let's continue reading the article. Daisy says, did the doctor say anything?
所以医生有说什么吗？在医院探视的时候啊，我们常会这样问病人或是家属嘛，因为你想了解一下病况。
That's right. And Parker says, he said, I'm recovering well. Okay, that's very good news. When you recover, it's a verb and it means to get well again after being ill or after getting hurt. So yeah, for example, after I caught COVID, it took me a while to recover. Meaning it took me a while to get well again and to feel normal and not sick again. So yeah, I think it took me almost 2 months to finally feel 100% healthy again. Yeah, COVID for you.
yeah. I was in the bed for like 3 days straight too.
Right? Okay, the power of COVID. I don't want to catch it again. Okay, but we can use recover in a sentence like this. Sarah has recovered from the surgery but needs to do gentle and small exercises to build her muscle strength again.
所以这边的 recover 就会是动词，表示痊愈啊，或是恢复健康。常见的片语会是 recover from 什么疾病，因为会是从这个疾病康复过来嘛。So for example, after going to therapy for a year, Julie has finally recovered from depression.
Wow, good for her. That's great. Okay, Parker then says, I can move around with a crutch now, so that's some progress. Okay, so Parker needs to use a crutch. A crutch is basically like a long stick with a piece on the top and you put it on your armpit and then it helps a person with an injury kind of move around. That's kind of like their extra leg in some ways. They're called crutches with the ES at the end if you need 2 of them to move around, okay? We also saw the word progress, which is a noun and it means the process of improving or developing or getting nearer to achieving and completing something. So for example, if you're learning a new language and you're able to do better and listen better or write better, then that's progress for you. So good job. Yeah. We can use progress in a sentence like this. Andrew's research is slowly making some progress, so he can move on to the next step soon.
好，我们先从第一个刚刚讲到的就会是 crutch， 它是一个名词，就是拐杖或是支架的时候，支架的意思。所以 Parker 他现在就可以拄着拐杖走路啦。And so that's progress. 这个 progress 就会是进步或者是进展，是一个名词。那常见的用法就会是 make progress， 代表人在哪方面有进步。So we learned that Parker can walk with a crutch now, which is better than not being able to walk at all. That's definitely progress.
Yeah. Okay, so next in the article, Daisy says, that's wonderful. Do you know when you might be able to leave the hospital?
Right, so when we see our friends or loved ones staying at the hospital, of course we would like to know when they can leave and get back to living their normal life. So what did Parker say?
Okay, let's see. He says, they're hopeful that I can leave next Monday if everything looks optimistic.
Wow, that's nice.
Very good, right? So, if you're hopeful, this is an adjective and it just means you're full of hope and you believe that something you want will happen. So doctors believe and of course want Parker to get better by next Monday. That means he's recovering very well. We can use hopeful in a sentence like this. The children were really hopeful for a typhoon day tomorrow.
Yeah, I think we all do.
Yes.
Waiting for the news to come out. Right, so we see hopeful, 它就是一个形容词，抱有希望的，拆成 hope 和 full 这个字根。那这个字根呢，其实是从 full 这个形容词充满来的 full。只是说变成字根的时候会少了一个 l， 只有 ful 而已。那常见的 ful 字根，比如 helpful, useful, powerful， 很有帮助的，很有用的，强而有力的。那刚刚文章这句最后就出现了 optimistic. This is a difficult word. What does it mean?
Don't worry, I got you. Optimistic is an adjective and it means to expect good things to happen or for something to be successful. It means also to be very positive as well. So, for example, do you know how to test if you're optimistic? Okay, so imagine if there is a glass of water in front of you. Do you view it as half full or half empty? Okay, people who view it as half full are more optimistic. That means they believe good things will happen. On the other hand, if you believe that it's half empty, it means you're pessimistic, which means that you believe that maybe a lot more bad or negative things will happen.
Right, you look at it and be like, oh, I have so little water.
Yeah, instead of saying I have full water. I think you're definitely optimistic, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we both are. We can use optimistic in a sentence like this. The scientists are really optimistic about their newest discovery and believe we're closer to finding a planet just like Earth.
Wow.
Super cool.
Okay, so optimistic 它就会是一个形容词，表示很乐观的。那如果一切看起来很乐观的话呢，文章就说到 Parker 下礼拜一就可以出院咯。
And Daisy, of course, she says, that's great news. Parker says, yeah, but it'll still be a while before I can do anything too intense like exercise again.
So he's not very optimistic.
Intense is an adjective and it means this is more about physicality though. Okay, so a lot of action in a short period of time. So that means use a lot of effort and it also often involves doing a great deal in a very short time. So for example, intense sports can be things like snowboarding or surfing because usually you're speeding, you're very, very fast, you're working with or against the forces of nature and you need a lot of energy and strength.
Right, 所以 intense 呢，它就会是指激烈的，是一个形容词。那比如说我们刚刚举例到一些剧烈运动啊，比如说 intense sports 包含滑雪、冲浪。那这边 Parker 就说，他还没有办法做太剧烈的事情，要再等一段时间。
Yeah, better safe than sorry.
Right.
Okay, so back to Parker, he also says, honestly, I've been bored, so I really appreciate your company.
所以小新这边的 company 不是只说我很感谢你的公司哦，这边的 company 是指陪伴的意思。So here we also see I really appreciate blah blah blah， 这是一个很常用来表示感谢的句型。
Daisy then says, I'm sure you'll be back on your feet in no time. Just let me know if you need anything. Okay, so we saw the phrase here, back on one's feet, and it just means to be healthy again after a period of illness.
Right, 所以 back on one's feet 很有画面嘛 ，feet 是脚，所以重新站起来就会是某人病后痊愈。It's also similar to the word we learned previously, right? Do you still remember?
What is it? Recover, right?
那这边 Daisy 在最后也不忘说一些加油打气的话，我肯定你很快就会痊愈了。
Yeah, and she also uses this phrase in no time, and this phrase means very quickly or very soon. So yeah, for example, if you listen to us, watch our show, you'll have great English in no time.
Exactly. 如果你有仔细看、仔细听我们的影片，你的英文很快就会下脚。Right, so 喜欢今天的主题吗？不要忘了按赞、订阅、分享我们的 YouTube 频道和 Facebook
Yay! So hopefully, Parker, get well soon. You'll be back in your feet in no time, so don't worry. Okay, so that means it's the end of our article, and now it's time for our For You chat. So the question is, what are some good or bad topics of conversation when you visit someone who is hospitalized? I think it really depends. Like, it's quite tricky because you also need to be able to read between the lines and see what that person feels comfortable talking about. But I think a general idea is, of course, talk about good topics, fun, uplifting topics, positive memories, maybe some updates about what's going on in the outside world. But yeah, definitely things to not talk about are like maybe their illness or injury, because to them, maybe it was a bad or negative experience and they don't want to be constantly reminded, right? And also don't talk about other people's negative or bad experiences at hospitals or with that illness. Like, I don't really like it when people say to me when I'm sick or whatever, and someone goes, oh yeah, my aunt had blah 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 too, and she got super sick, and if you don't do this and do that, then you'll end up like her, so sick in the hospital.
That's the worst. Yeah, I totally get that. Saying things like that only makes the person feel worse. I think when someone's not feeling well, that they just really need encouragement and good vibes. And it's also not a good idea to go on and on about all the fun things you've been doing because, well, they might feel sad about missing out. So I would try to talk about some happy memories we shared together and also talk about things that we could do once they are feeling better. That way they'll have something to look forward to and feel a little bit more hopeful.
Yeah, that's great. And don't share scary stories or ghost stories about hospitals. I think that's the one thing you don't want to talk about as well. Yeah, because then if you're me, I would be very, very mad because I'm kind of scared of that thing. Okay, so hopefully you don't have to visit anyone at the hospital, but if you do, remember these kind of pointers and tips, and hopefully, you need to see your friend soon, right?
Yeah, I can use all the phrases we just learned.
Exactly. So, do you know which hospital she's at?
Oh, I better check.
Okay, anyways, we'll see. We'll see you guys very soon. Bye.
Bye.
Vocabulary Review.
Anxious. Maggie is anxious about the exam tomorrow, but she has studied a lot, so she should be fine. Rough. It was a rough day at school, because I forgot my homework and failed a test. Recover. It took a long time for Elena to recover and be healthy again after she was sick with the flu. Progress. Ian made a lot of progress on his essay over the weekend. He thinks he can finish it by Friday. Hopeful. Tom was hopeful that he would get the job because the manager smiled during the interview. Optimistic. Although we're going to India during the rainy season, I'm optimistic. I know we'll still have fun.
智慧小补帖
Disturb. Painkiller. Crutch. Intense.
掌握最新时事主题，立即下载空中美语 App， 免费收听当期完整杂志。